Good morning. I'm going to ask that you stand and sing along with us.
Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will change the world. Share, share, share who you are and share, share, share when it's hard to share. Share, our sharing will change the world. Sing, sing, sing all together. Sing, sing, sing when it's hard to sing. Sing, our singing will change the world. Care, care, care for each other. Care, care, care for the one who's care. Care, our caring will change the world. Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will change the world. Our loving will change the world. Our sharing will change the world. Our singing will change the world. Our caring will change the world. Our loving will change the world.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see your faces. Sorry, I got distracted watching people. So that's one of my favorite things to do is to people watch. So I get to do that for free here, so that's kind of nice. If you're joining us from home, we are just so pleased that you are with us, that you are part of this spiritual community. Please text in, where are you listening from, viewing from? And we hope that I'm feeling a little emotional. If you can't feel that energy kind of rippling out a little bit, it's a farewell day for us as we say goodbye to Linda Hancock and to Reverend Mary Grace Sorensen. And so I've already used the tissues twice. So, so when that time comes, what I'm going to ask the online folks to do, if you can't be here and you're online, to just text out or in the comments section, send some love to Linda and to Mary Grace. We've got a lot of things going on. This is our busy season, and in our busy season, we have lots happening. So we are going to be kicking off our season of radical renewal in 2 weeks. We've got Eddie Watkins Jr. coming and doing the music for us on that Sunday. I know! And he's also going to be doing this amazing workshop that Reggie's going to tell you about. Then we've got World Day of Prayer, and we've got Tibetan flags that you're going to write your intentions on. Oh my goodness, we've got a gala coming on October 30th. We've got a camp out happening the weekend of November 4th. Holy moly, there's a lot going on. So all these details are to come, but I just want to prime you to start thinking about these things as they're coming up and you're looking at your calendar. I want to start us off with the Daily Word. For those of you who may not know, this is Daily Word. It's part of our organization. They've been going for over 125 years, 24 hours, 7 days a week, holding in prayer. And today's word is holy. And the affirmation is, I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. There are certain places I visit where the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches, Unity Church of the Hill, I just added that in there, and other houses of worship, shrines, favorite places in nature, any destination where I become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. I remember these words from The Prayer for Protection by Unity poet James Dillett Freeman: wherever I am, God is. The divine presence, I know, lives within me. It is the true essence of my life and of every life. Today, my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every person is a holy being. Every person is a holy being. And every place is holy ground. I'd like to invite Thaleen up to do our opening prayer and Roderick to do the sound bowl for us. Thaleen is one of our solid prayer chaplains and an interfaith minister. Welcome.
As that beautiful sound permeates all of the energy in this room, we recognize that there's nothing but God here, and it's all holy. And one of my favorite characteristics of God is loving. That loving of ourselves, the loving of each other, the loving of it all. And in that we just pray that in our awareness and our consciousness, we recognize God. We recognize the holy. We recognize the loving in everything before us. That we hold in that sacred space of love. And so it is, and so we choose to let it be. Amen.
More about him, come in 2 weeks and he'll be here, and he'll be offering a workshop after the ceremony, after the service on Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. It's called I Sing My Prayers, and the way that works is the participants will be offered an opportunity to write their personal affirmation, and Eddie Watkins will put that affirmation to song. Then you are able to record that particular affirmation on your phone, and you'll have it forever and ever. So that's going to be really cool. So you don't want to miss out on that. It is $25 per person. And also, as Rev Cherie indicated, we are entering our season of radical renewal. Fall is a time of transition, and nature displays beautiful scenery and provides us with opportunity for reflection and renewal, replacing fragmented aspects of our lives with hopes of a fresh start and new beginning. Can't go wrong with that, right? Our Fall Faith 2020 series will focus on nonviolent communication. And with that being said, we have nonviolent communication classes. So join us for live, fun, highly interactive, in-person workshop series as we explore Speaking Giraffe, the language of nonviolent communication. Sessions are held on 6 consecutive Sundays, starting on August 8th and concluding on Sunday, October 2nd. There are three different ways to participate in this series. During Sunday morning talks, in-person workshops from 9 a.m. to 11, also on Sunday, in Friendship Hall, and 2 spirit circles via Zoom with Reverend Gina on Sunday from 2 to 4, as well as Charles Davis on Tuesday, 7:30. Visit our website for additional details as well. Annual Day of Prayer is quickly approaching. We will be offering an opportunity for our congregants to write down your intentions for the season of radical renewal on a Tibetan prayer flag. That will be happening on August 28th and September 4th, so save that date. And if you will join me in reciting the vision statement. We are an ever-expanding community of love and acceptance where lives are transformed. Thank you.
You're not a natural being, having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being, living this natural experience. You're not a natural being, having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being, living this natural experience every day. When you wait, your request should constantly say, oh Lord, let me be spiritual, spiritual. Let me be spiritual, spiritual. You're not a natural being, having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being, living this natural experience. You're not a natural being, you're having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being, living this natural experience every day, when you wait, your request should constantly say, oh Lord, let me be spiritual, and the words of my mouth, spiritual, and the meditation of my heart, be spiritual, oh Lord, every day, when you open your eyes and plant your feet on the earth, open your eyes and say, oh Lord, let me be spiritual. I want to walk in the Spirit. I want to move in the Spirit. Spiritual. Every day, every way. I want to be and move encouragement, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Oh, let me live in the Spirit. Oh, live in the goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Oh, let me live, let me live. I want to walk in the Spirit every day, every way. I want to walk by faith, not by sight. Oh, Lord, oh, let me live, let me be. Oh, let me be spiritual.
Welcome back, Celebration in the band, baby. Woo! Thank you. I heard they were a splash in Nashville. That's where they were. So welcome back. You were missed. And we had a beautiful Sunday, last Sunday, with Carissa belting out some beautiful tunes as well. Oh my gosh. Austin, Unity Church of the Hills. We got a lot going on here. Well, today we are going to be talking about self-love as spiritual praise. You know, in our society, we've been conditioned to believe that loving ourselves is selfish and ungodly. Oh, I just saw somebody come back. Hi. Sorry. And then we come to Unity, and we discover that self-care and self-love are not only important, but vital to our spiritual growth. You know, when I first got to Unity, it was about over 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm dating myself. And the notion of self-love was really difficult for me to embrace. On one hand, how cool. You know, it's like, wow, people are celebrating themselves and just elevating who they are, the truth of who they are. And then on the other hand, I'm like, my paradigm was to be a good spiritual person, you had to sacrifice yourself for others, right? That was the conditioning of my family and my religion. You see, I came to Unity all those years ago, broken and lost. I hated the God of my understanding, yet I was yearning for connection. I hated religion, but my soul was needing renewal. I hated feeling so alone, while the divinity within me was reminding me I was living a lie of separation. And I was so filled with self-loathing at that time. I couldn't wrap my head around the idea of loving me. You see, because I was so focused on the mistakes I made in my life. You know, all those derailments that happened in my life, that I came to believe that I was the mistake. I was a derailment. How many of you had those thoughts and feelings before? Yeah. Yeah, it's the human condition. And this is why we need spiritual community. We need spiritual community to remind us that each of us is a part of God, that we aren't broken, that we are beautifully made, that we are the treasures of the universe. Now, once I started Unity, there was one thing that I could hold on to. It was denials and affirmations. The rest of it was a little too woo-woo for me. You know what I'm saying, right? But denials and affirmations were solid. I could get around it. It was a formula. And you know, we humans, we love formulas, right? Give us a formula of how to succeed, and we are going to do that formula. And so for me, at the time, denials plus affirmations equaled a fabulous life. Got it. And I loved it because I could grasp that I could release these negative thoughts, these thoughts that were not of love. I could look at all those tapes that I internalized that made me feel less than and wrong, and I could refute their truth and power. It was a time of renewal and hope for me. And then I could create with affirmations, right? I could remind myself that I am beautifully made and God doesn't make junk, right? And then over time, I started to get this feeling of deserving, that I could have a wonderful life. And so what do you think is the next spiritual thing that I learned that I worked with? It was the law of attraction. That's usually kind of like the next thing that kind of opens up for us, right? The spiritual law of attraction. And so I had so much fun and energy creating green lights on my drive, the parking spaces that would be there just for me when I'm ready, right? And then I stretched a little bit more, and it was, okay, you know, having a partner in my life, or acquiring some goal, right? So all of these, and those were kind of nice little stretches. But here's the tricky part. They're all basic spiritual principles. Did you hear me? Oh, she did say that. She says they were like basic. Yes, I did. They are basic. Think of them as second-year classes when you're at a four-year institution. Getting it? Do I still use them today? Yes. Yes, I do. But I don't use them the same way that I used to. You see, before, they were my lifeline. I held on, I used them constantly. That's all I had. Today, they are a hammer in my toolbox. Now I'm preaching. A hammer in my toolbox. What do I mean by that? I mean that in our toolboxes, right, we have hammers in our toolboxes. They are a basic blunt force tool. But if I'm doing a ceiling fan installation or changing the knobs on the light switches, I can't use a hammer for that, can I? So similarly, when we look at this spiritually, denials and affirmations, I use them, but I use them when I'm in a particularly hard-to-shift looping thought. Got it? You see, when our movement was starting, these concepts were revolutionary. And today they are still useful and a solid tool for us to use. But the question is, are they your most precious tools? Or have you added to your toolbox? And here's the deep question. When you say you've been in unity and new thought for 5, 10, 20 years, do you mean you're doing the work to continually stretch your spiritual muscles, to evolve your consciousness? Or are you repeating the first year over and over again? Because there's a big difference there, my friends. So the reason I'm having this conversation with you is to be able to say that right sounding, you know, we learn the right things to say, the unity things to say. And just because we know how to say them doesn't mean that spiritual transformation has happened. Transformation comes from us spiritually stretching our muscles, learning, evolving our consciousness, embodying the divine, being love in all we say and do. And that work takes more than a hammer. Can I get an amen on that? You see, knowing the truth of what we are and loving oneself doesn't come from a place of ego. It comes from the soul's knowing. Now, often the ego gets a bad rap, right? It's like we get spiritual and we're like, get rid of the ego, get rid of the ego. No, it's not about getting rid of the ego. It's not about getting rid of the ego. It's about reclaiming it in a different way. You see, the ego is necessary for us to maneuver here, to navigate on this plane of existence. We need it. But the ego, like the mind, are to be used as tools, not as definitions of who we are. Got it? Ever have a conversation with somebody who knows it all? And they want you to know they know it all? What thoughts come to mind about that experience when you're engaging with them? And don't use any names. Shout out. What you got? What experiences come to mind? Frustration? Escape. Good. What else? Boredom? Condescending? Loss of energy, yeah. What else? Good, yeah. We have those feelings because we know on a cellular level that when we are clear in knowing the truth of what and who we are, that we're divinity in skin, we are love and loved, that we don't have to prove to anyone our worth. Correct? Conversely, ever talk to somebody who's a victim? They share how wrong they have been, right? How they have been wronged. And then someone, of course, has to be blamed. And when you engage with a person like this, once again, no names, what thoughts come to mind? What do you think of? Wear you out. Sadness? Sadness, yes. What else? Exhaustion, thank you. Yeah. All right. Because what do we know again? On a cellular level, right? On a cellular level, we know that in our truth, if we know who and what we are in divinity, as divinity in skin, that we are love and loved, then there's no need to prove to someone that we are lovable, right? So on either side of that equation, it boils down to self-love. Self-love. I love this book. This was one of my kind of first primers when I started doing my own awakening. And it is Love is the Answer, Creating Positive Relationships. And it's by Gerald Jampolsky and Diane Cirincione. And they say this about whether it's boasting or victimization. Our own unloving thoughts about ourselves hurt us. Once again, projection is a mirror and not a fact. We often choose relationships that are perfect reflections of the belief that we are not deserving of love. Then we mold and manipulate these relationships to match our inner perceptions. Sound familiar? I don't know about you, but how many times have you been in a relationship with the same person but different faces? Because I know I have, right? Thank you. Yes. So we're having this conversation, my friends, because I want you to have amazing lives and amazing relationships. And the only way that I know how to support you in this is to encourage you to stretch and grow. Why do you think we have at least 4 times a year different kinds of classes for you to take? Right? We offer these things to help you to learn, to stretch, to grow. Now, we're in the season of radical renewal, and as Reggie mentioned before, we are going to be working with nonviolent communication. And I just want to take a pause for a moment and say, if you've taken NVC and you go, well, I've taken that already, so I don't need to do that now. I'm telling you, this is a radical new class that's been developed by Sandra Vella, LUT candidate, almost complete by the end of the year, and the education team, which consists of Rick Busby, Linda Hancock, and Anita Farrell. It's experiential. It's going to be using some building blocks to give you practice on using it. Because having all of that knowledge up here, but then not being able to engage with someone in love and kindness, I don't know why take a class then, right? Okay, so the purpose of this is really for us to be able to engage with each other in new ways, in ways of respect, of love, of kindness, while taking responsibility for our own emotions. So we no longer have to use the phrase, "you made me feel mad," right? Because we're responsible for our emotions. The other aside that I want to give on this is that I expect every leader in this community to take this class. Every leader. So if you're on the board of directors, I expect you to take this class. If you're leading a committee, I expect you to take this class. If you're thinking about coming on the board of directors, I expect you to take this class. This is important work for us to be doing. And I also want you to hear this, because sometimes I hear people say to me, well, you think there's something wrong with us. And I'm like, no. I think that you're wonderful. I think that you're perfect. And I am here to support you in being the highest that you can, both emotionally and spiritually. That's my job. Do you hear the difference? Okay, thank you. Somebody said yes. And in order to be the embodiment of the divine, it's imperative that we love ourselves. It is imperative that we love ourselves. And once again, love ourselves not from ego, but love ourselves unconditionally from our divinity, right? We get a chance to start right now, today, to stop recreating the dramas in our lives. Because once we are filled up with unconditional love, it can't help but spill over on everyone and everything around us. That's the ripple effect. That's how we change lives. The problems come when we try to be loving and kind towards others, but we got nothing in the tank. We don't even love ourselves. How are we going to love somebody else? RuPaul in the house. Okay. But the question comes, how does this work? How does this work? How do we move from the societal definitions of what loving ourselves has meant, right, which is really ego stroking, let's call it what it is, to creating a practice of self-love from divinity. Self-love from divinity. Why do we care? Why do we want to do this work? Because self-love from our divine consciousness is spiritual praise. Did you hear that? It's spiritual praise. Now, according to the guides who wrote The Kingdom in Paul Selig's book, they start us on that path of discovery, and they say this: to comprehend the self in knowing does not displace the egoic structure. It actually reclaims it as of God and allows it to live in its own agreement that in some ways has been usurped by its higher being. What does that mean? When we start doing this spiritual work, our ego immediately goes into this sense of, I'm going to die, and I'm not going to die. And so it kicks up all of this resistance. And there's a lot of thoughts that happen with this, and it creates anxiety and dissonance within us. The ego wants to survive, but the ego doesn't have to die. The ego doesn't have to die. It's simply reclaimed by the divine into what it was always meant to be: a tool. A tool to support you in navigating this realm with easy shortcuts. This is how we make things new again. You following? So the guides remind us that our ego is of God, There is no thing that is not of God, right? We say that all the time. But our ego's been contaminated by our indoctrination on this planet because we believe in separation and division. And when we do that, we're claiming our shadow as opposed to our light. The guys also write this: all things are of God, all things, everything must be. The denial of the light is what claims you in shadow. The denial of the inherent divinity in anyone or anything puts it in shadow and calls you to its side. You live in a ruined kingdom thinking it's splendorous. When a ruin stands before you, know God as the ruin, and see the ruin remade in an articulated state of a degree that the small self, the ego, cannot imagine. Booyah. Powerful stuff. Loving all aspects of ourselves is crucial to loving God. There is no thing God is not. We say it over and over again. So you feel horrible because you lied or you judged someone. Give yourself the gift of compassion. Make amends. Make amends and reclaim your truth, right? The behavior isn't what and who you are. That's not your truth. You are beautifully made, divinity in skin. And then be loving to yourself as you honor the precious treasure that you truly are. Being loving to yourself means you are praising God. Being loving to yourself means you are praising God for the creation that you are. Being loving to yourself means that you will be overflowing in love and to others simply because you are so filled up. So I want to share a story with you that, you know what I did? I left it in my bag. Do you mind getting it for me? So I'm going to share a story with you in just a moment. But I'll come back to that one. Most of you got a card when you came in, a business card, and it talks about loving. And these are tips on how you can stay in loving consciousness with yourself, all right? So I want this to be in your wallet. Thank you, love. To be in your wallet, to be given out whenever you need it. So if you need another one, get it on the way out. Because there are tips. Loving, right? So let go of the past. Let go of the mistakes. Let go of the errors. Whatever happened in your past brought you here to this moment. Brought you here to this moment. Helped you to be the divine being that you are. Oh, open your heart to divinity. So even if you're having some difficulty with someone, you can choose to open your heart and see the divinity within them. Yes? Thank you. Visualize. Visualize yourself as the light of God. If you are the light of God and you see yourself walking as the light of God, oh my gosh, how much love are you generating, right? Unconditional love. Then imagine unlimited love flows in and overflows to everyone around you. And now is the time. Not what happened with X 6 months ago, not what could happen tomorrow or a week from now. Here, in this present moment. All is well. All is well. And then give love freely without reward. Simply because I love you doesn't mean that you have to love me back. It'd be nice, right? I'm not gonna lie, it'd be nice. But that's not my purpose. My purpose is to be love in skin, to love you regardless of the behaviors, and to encourage you to be your light. So I want to just read this quick story with you that this is by Alan Cohen, The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And it's about his experience with someone overflowing in love. One bright spring morning, I stepped outside the restaurant where I was working for a breath of fresh air and sunshine. And as I closed the door behind me, a man that I had not seen before approached me with a radiant smile and exclaimed, "Gosh, it's a beautiful day, isn't it?" Now, I know the rest of you are like cringing, right, when somebody comes up to you and says that. And he said, "It certainly is. You know, my friend," he went on, "I just want to tell you how happy I am since I allowed God into my life." How many of you are waiting for that track to come out? I was a little surprised that he spoke so intimately to me, and I was in fact a little leery that he was about to go into a sermon or invite me to a meeting or ask for a donation. But there was something genuine about him, so I loaned him my ear. "I used to be miserable," he said. "I had so many worries and poor health, my business was floundering, and I just did not like life. Then one day I realized how wonderful and magnificent is God. I saw, as if for the first time, the splendor of God's creation. God made the trees, the birds, and the flowers, and what's more, I realized that God really loves me. As I listened to this delightful story, my doubts disappeared, my heart opened, and I began to feel and flow with him. Since that splendid moment, my life has been a miracle after miracle. I wake up in the morning and I look forward to each new day. I have many wonderful friends and my work is satisfying. I just love life. And I'm so grateful that God is so good to me." He put his hand on my shoulder, looked me squarely in the eye, and told me, "I just want you to know that I love you and to say God bless you." With that, my mysterious friend turned and walked, or really floated, on down the street. No sermons, no meetings, nothing asked in return, just filling up and spilling over. Spiritual awakening is spread by overflow. I'm going to say that sentence again. Spiritual awakening is spread by overflow. We cannot force another into higher consciousness. We are like flower buds. We must open and bloom at our own rate, catalyzed by the warmth of the sun. The best way to support another person in their growth is to love them. They will feel so free and easy in our presence that their blocks to growth will just melt away. Maybe not melt, but they'll slowly dissolve. No amount of preaching, teaching, or pressuring will speed up their evolution, and it may even retard it. We may share, offer ideas, and invite if we feel to do so, yet this reaching out must be offered lightly with an open hand so that our friends feel completely free to accept our invitation or decline it. I've spoken to you about evangelism for a little while now. That's evangelism, right? Overflowing in love. Overflowing in love. You've got tips here. Take with you, keep it in your wallet. You know, if you find yourself like, "Oh, I cannot believe she just said that to me," whip the card out and go, right? And go. All right, and if you really still want to have that hammer in your toolbox, then you can use this affirmation from Charles Fillmore from Keep a True Lent, which says, "I cultivate a loving attitude of mind toward everybody. As I pray and realize spiritual dominion, I feel the power of unity with the higher self more quickly than any other way." All right, so you've got a little hammer if you need it sometimes. So 2 weeks, we are starting radical renewal. We're starting learning how to communicate with each other with kindness, with love, with respect. Now, it's a 6-week process. I think you can commit to 6 weeks. It's not like an engagement. You know, you're just kind of dating us at that point. 6 weeks. I am not going to be here next week. I'm going to be on a spiritual retreat. I'm going up to North Carolina. I'm going to be in the mountains, and I'm going to be with Paul Selig. So I'm super excited about that. And a little bird told me that Sandra's also going to be there as well. You know, we are the Selig freaks. We won't deny it. So I'm looking forward to being filled up and overflowing in love when I come back and be with you on the 28th.
The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. Ooh. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Oh yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. All light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light.
That was fabulous. Thank you. And let's just take another deep breath in and center ourselves. And again, all the way to the bottom of your lungs. And just sigh it out. As we become present in this here and now moment, tingling in the effervescent light that we are. We feel it moving in, through, and as us, radiating from every cell. Because as the source of that light is Spirit, God. God is love. We are children of God and we are love. When we love ourselves truly, when we feel it in ourselves, in the water we drink, it radiates from us as light, as love, as sparkling effervescence that blends and molds and permeates our being and our environment. It flows in and through those around us, weaving in and out like the roots of a tree. This light binds us all together so that the illusion of separateness evaporates as we blend our lights, feel our love, and know that we are connected as we love ourselves, as we love God as ourselves. Just hold a thought in mind as we take a few moments in this silence, whatever speaks to you. I love myself the way I am. I am the light. I am God in expression. I love God. I love everything. Whatever works or speaks for you, one of those or something else, just hold it in your heart. Maybe put your hand over your heart as we breathe in the silence for a few moments, loving ourselves. Wherever we are, God is. And we are love, loved and loving. Take another deep breath in. Feel the seat supporting you, your back, your head on your shoulders, your fingers on the ends of your hands, your toes in your shoes, and breathe, knowing that you are loved. You are love, and you love yourself as you express it into the world. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you, Reverend Mary Grace. In talking about love, there's always going to be a song cue in my head. So the song cue about self-love this morning is, I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that I can love you so much that you can start loving me. So as we all know this song, we all sing it and feel it, and it's a community of love that we have here at UCOH that keeps us propelling forward. So in propelling this community of love forward, it is now offering time. And as the ushers come forward, there are multiple ways you can give of that love. You can give by texting, you can give online, you can give by the app, you can give cryptocurrency, Cash App, Venmo, TrueCell, Gmail money, whatever you got, we will take. Thank you and praise the Lord. So, take that energy of love, take that energy of giving, take that energy of community, and let us say our affirmation. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful.
Good enough to receive it. The season's gone, so why do I need it? This was the story of my life. Told so much that I wasn't worthy. I even tried the but then love hurt me. I shouted but the God never heard me. I became the victim of my life. See, everybody goes through the fire, but not everyone comes out like gold. I started low and God took me high. He gets the praise and the world know. I will live and not die. I will win with tears in my eyes. I'll be judged and criticized only by those who are afraid to try. I'm living in blessings and favor. See God exchange my pain for something greater for me. Right now, not later. For all you've been through. Blessings and favor waiting for you. Favor,
Say favor.
ooh, favor. Blessings and favor.
See, you can't let your problems override your promise. And don't let your feelings dictate your faith.
I was too afraid to believe it.
Too afraid.
Or not good enough to receive it.
Oh, so good.
The season's gone, so why do I need it? This was the story of my life.
It's my testimony.
Told so much that I wasn't worthy.
Oh, Lord.
Even tried love, but then love hurt me.
You've been there.
Shouted, but the God never heard me. I became a victim of my life. See, everybody goes through the fire, but not everyone comes out like gold. I started low and God took me high. He gets the praise in the world will know. I will live and not die. I will win with tears in my eyes. I'll be judged and criticized only by those who are afraid to try. I'm living in blessings and favor. See God exchange my pain for something greater for me. Right now, not later. For all you've been through, blessings and favors waiting for you. Favor,
Say favor.
ooh, favor.
God has.
Blessings and favor. See, favor's not material things. None of the treasures this world can bring. It's when God's hand is on your life, and when you know what real love means. I'm living in favor,
In your mind.
favor,
Over your job.
favor.
God has.
Blessings and favor for
Over your
you.
life.
Favor,
Over your children.
favor.
Over your future.
Favor, blessings and favor for you. Favor,
And not just.
favor,
I've got
never-ending God-given favor.
love you. Thank you for playing along with me. Oh, sweet Spirit, for all these gifts, for the joy of the intention that people gave, we are so grateful. And we just see these gifts blessing this community and beyond. And we see these givers receiving in numerous abundance and prosperity. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. All right, so we come to the little bit emotional time in our, am I seeing Linda back there? Oh, okay. Magic, abracadabra. Come on up, sweetheart. I know. Ooh. I've been off and on crying today. It's like I didn't expect that either, and like it's just, I got a box of tissues by my bench there. Okay. So this angel, this delight, has been with us for a really long time. 16 years as a YFM director. A passion for pastoral care that she's just carved that right out as well. So many things, volunteer coordinator, and the list goes on, and you can read it right behind me. Yeah, we listed everything. Everything's there. And so at this time, we just want to give you a little something from Unity Church of the Hills. Certificate of appreciation.
All you've done and all you will do.
Yes. Thank you. Linda Hancock, please show her some love.
I'm feeling a little emotional, so hopefully I can get through this. I've got my fan and my cheat sheet in case I go blank. Well, I've anticipated this moment for a long time. I knew it would eventually come. It always does for everyone. You know, there's a beginning and an end to every cycle in life, but it doesn't make it any easier to say goodbye. And I've looked at my work here not as a job, but as a way of life. And I think those of you who work in ministry know when you work in ministry, it's a way of life. It's not a 9-to-5 job, it's an 24/7 job, 365 days of the year. And I took that knowing it, and I've loved working here, I've loved working in my community. And over the past 22 years that I've been a part of this ministry, I've seen and experienced a lot of change here at UCOH. Some of that I liked and some of it I didn't like, but I stayed because this is my community and I love this community and I love the people in it and it's where I belong. And so I encourage you to do the same as you hit walls and things that you don't like or agree with. Stick it out, work through it, because that's an opportunity for growth. So after my first 6 years as a volunteer in the youth and family, our founding minister, Ron Scott, and the board at that time approached me and asked me to take on the leadership of the youth and family. And so, of course, I said yes. I was honored that they asked me. But I said I would do it for a year. And so after that first year was up, I said, well, I can do this for another year. And every year after that, for the next 16 years, I would just mentally renew my commitment for another year. And here we are, 16 years later. Well, so this year, when I asked Spirit, it was a loud no. No, it's time to move on, Linda. It's time to move on to the next chapter of your life and pass the baton to someone else. And so I'm going back to school to study somatic movement, making a dramatic lifestyle change. We're selling our home. We sold our home. We're building a tiny house, and we're moving into a 55-plus tiny house community west of Liberty Hill. And I'm very excited about that new future, but it's bittersweet because it means I have to stop what I'm doing that I've loved so much. And I absolutely have loved, it's been my great joy to work with and on behalf of our young people and the volunteers who serve them. It's been so rewarding for me to work with adults who share the same passion for young people as I do. It's just such a warm feeling because they are our future. And then our volunteers, as a volunteer coordinator, I've gotten to know volunteers in every area of this church. And you are what make this place work. You bring the magic. You help everything run smoothly. And you are an inspiration to me. You have blessed me so much in that role. And then in pastoral care, it's just been such a privilege for me to work in pastoral care. Thank you to those of you who I've worked with for trusting in me during your vulnerable times. That means so much to me. And finally, our staff, wherever you are, our staff, what an amazing team of people who are so devoted and work together and support each other. I'm going to miss working with you. And all of you, all the rich friendships and relationships. Okay, is my time almost up? Okay. I just want to say those lifelong friendships I will treasure forever, and I will carry you in my heart wherever I go. Thank you so much.
Turn around. Well done. Well done. You did. You did. Our other person that's leaving is Reverend Mary Grace Sorensen. And Reverend Mary Grace Sorensen has just been a light for me. When I first came here, she's, what do you need? What can I do? And it's been like that the entire time that I've known her. And this is a unicorn, by the way. You know, I called unicorns those folks who have grown up in unity. Yeah. And she gets to have her own community now out in California. And do you want to call Lucille up for a little love?
Sure.
Lucille, will you come on up?
She doesn't want to
She doesn't want to come up. She wants to stay.
You stand up where you are,
All right,
Lucille.
that's great. So everyone knows Lucille Sorensen. Tell them a little bit about her.
She did all our flowers for years and years and years that were all around the church. So we just love Lucille, and she's my mother-in-law, and I get to live with her. She was raised in unity. Our son is 5th generation unity. I just want to say it has been my joy and pleasure to continue my unity movement. My mom was at this church when we were still down the road before we were here, and was Donna Laughlin's teacher. And for those of you who remember Donna, so I've been doing this my entire life, and I love it here, and I love this community, and I love the Wee Wisdom preschool. And let's rub our hands. Thank you for coming. I just remember her when she was so skinny. Now she's all big. How does that happen? And I got to do the christening for a young woman who has a baby whose daughter who was in my Sunday school in Houston. I've just been doing this too long. I want to share with you a poem. I am the place where God shines through. For God and I are one, not two. I need not fear, nor fret, nor plan. God needs me now, right where I am. And if I am relaxed and free, God will do a mighty work through me. I'm going forth to do my mighty work, and you have yours. Thank you.
Don't leave. Turn around. You're adorable.
I don't do well with emotion. That was a lot. Linda, Mary Grace, you will be missed. You will be missed. Never forgotten, but missed. So thank you for all you've done, and good luck in your next chapters. All right, more announcements. prayer chaplains this Sunday and every Sunday going forward for the foreseeable future are available to you in the chapel after service. If you're feeling compelled to unburden yourself or you want to share good news, they're there for you, whatever reason you need. They're available to you in the chapel after the service today. They're also available if you want to call Silent Unity and just follow the automated prompts to get where you need to go. All right. As you have, we've announced a few times, even though Unity is not officially participating in the Pride events this year, doesn't mean they're not still happening. So, there will be a parade on Saturday, August 20th from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And there will be events throughout the day at Fiesta Gardens from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be inflatable games, carnival rides, drag queen story time. Let me repeat that, drag queen story time. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. Who knows what those stories are going to be? Yeah. The drag queen story time is going to be from 12 to 1, and there's going to be 140 plus vendor booths, drinks, food, and more, so please don't miss that. Discount advance tickets are available through this Tuesday, and the day of tickets available at the festival gates are $20. If you're age 7 to 17, they're $10, and if you're 6 or under, it's free. All right. For those of you who don't know, we had Karen Mimrick, one of our volunteer extraordinaires, sponsor a 20% off bookstore sale last Sunday. Guess what? She's doing it again this Sunday. So if you, right, yeah, we love Karen. Yes, we love Karen. And if you're wondering who set up all the beautiful tables, that would be Karen. So we love Karen. Thank you for being here, Karen. If you're here, she's probably, of course, where would she be? So she's sponsoring another 20% off bookstore sale today after Sunday service. So if you haven't been there, you owe it to yourself to check it out. It's more than just books. It's a metaphysical bookstore. So if you can buy jewelry, you can buy trinkets, you can buy anything you want, basically. Music. So stop by and take advantage of that 20% off sale. All right. As Rev Cherie mentioned, she won't be here next Sunday, but Jean Lean will be here. And she'll be discussing relationships. Who are you and why should I care is the topic. I don't know who you are. In our continuing series, we have looked at relationships with God and ourselves. Now we look at the relationships we have with others. Do we have any responsibility to those? And if so, what are they? So join Reverend Jean Lean next Sunday for that topic. All right. As you well know, we are having a luncheon, a farewell luncheon for Mary Grace and Linda immediately after the service. Friendship Hall, come by for light food, fellowship, and a few more farewell goodbyes and some tears, I'm sure. So join us and take advantage of this beautiful spread that Karen Mimrick and our other volunteers have set up for you. David Pressler helped us out. Jennifer Chavez have been working tirelessly to get this thing to go off without a hitch. So please take advantage of what we've offered for you after service today. All right. And at this point, we would like to say goodbye to our online congregants. And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week as well. And we'd like to bring in the youth at this point.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.